Yeah, so I wanted to address this movie that this guy made, which I forget the name of it. I'll see if I can put it up on the screen here. Basically, it's saying that all disease is not viruses or germs. It's actually toxemia. So it's building up of toxins in the body, and the explanation he gives for why you get it, like from people or certain times, is because of various factors, including that we have morphogenic fields, electric fields that signal to other people that it's time to start detoxing. Now, it really actually, if you, especially if you've had different kinds of sicknesses besides the flu, like if you got the COVID, you know that toxicity would have to have been a much different toxicity than what you experienced before with the flu or a cold. So you would have had to have some sort of radical lifestyle or environmental change in order for that disease to have afflicted you the way it did, because you see that the COVID was much different than the flu. It was similar, but very different, and a lot more scary, I can tell you. But here's the thing. So now, if then it's just toxemia, and like for instance, he was saying you get chickenpox only because children during a certain period of their life have a time when they need to detox, like a growth spurt or something like that, and they need to get rid of excess stuff at a certain time, and that's why they get it. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of truth to that. Just don't get me wrong to say that I'm all just debunking everything he said. First of all, I agree that probably virus theory is not true. And the pharmaceutical industry and a lot of this other stuff is fraudulent scam, which demons have perpetrated to make money off the backs of sinful humans. But I think that there's another explanation, because there's different things that affect it. Now, I'm not a doctor giving advice or a scientist or anything. This is just purely an idea, which I heard a preacher one day talk about how in the church he saw that people that had various ailments had these demons attached. He could actually see the demons. And so I'm saying that I think that the cause of many of these sicknesses, diseases, whatever, is a high likelihood to be spirits, invisible entity attachments. Black and white LAPD. Let's get him on tape here. Black and white LAPD passing overhead in these mountains here in Calabasas. Howdy. Hey, how you doing? I run a ministry, so don't worry, it's just a camera.
Okay. I got cameras running too. I got to call a
Sure.
parking complaint here.
Okay.
So,
Okay, a parking complaint?
how long you been here?
About 30 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
It's not staying overnight.
Do you have a permit to be filming out here?
No, I don't.
Okay. Because you're filming right now, right?
Yeah. So you're going to give me a ticket for filming in a public area?
I can.
Okay.
If you keep that running, we can make it happen.
Okay. Just keeping everything kosher, so don't worry. This is not going to be taken out of context or anything
You
like
don't have
that.
my permission to film me. This is actually off the roadway.
Okay.
It's up to you. It's up to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
It's up to you how you want this to go.
Okay. Nope. I don't want a ticket, so. Okay. So just reporting. That officer came up behind me, and so he checked me out, and there was no problem or anything. But he was telling me if I have a permit to film, and then basically if I didn't stop filming, he was going to give me a ticket. So you may have heard it says, it's up to you. Either way is you want to go. And so I said, well, I don't want a ticket, so I put the camera away. But yeah, so but basically what he said was that there was a complaint and that I was parking here, you know, over what, and I was just parking. I wasn't parking overnight. I was just parking during the day to film, and then I leave, you know, after I'm done filming. But I was parked in the same spot, so maybe somebody who lives here or something filed a complaint or whatever, and just really real dicks too. I mean, there's like no one around that much, you know, so it's not like some, you know, big deal that this RV is parked here. It's like almost no one, you know. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. Yeah, and it's just this, you know, area on the side of Stunt Road here. It's got this little embankment here that you can park, and so it's just, I think it's just kind of crappy for them, you know, or who knows, you know, maybe it was, you know, the stalkers trying to harass me. Who knows what it is, but yeah, so just reported that, and by the way, I gave him a sheet that I wrote up to give to LAPD, briefly explaining my experience and the angel and everything, and but showing that, you know, the reptilian face and claws and everything. And I told him the name of my channel, and you know, I realize it's not going to do too much good, but it's a witness to what I went through, because I know that, like I said, I have LAPD in my family, and I know they weren't in on it, so I know they're not all in on it. So if some people, you know, find out about it, you know, who knows what could lead to something else, you know, and somebody could confirm it and find out, and this is you know, some pretty incredible stuff. And most people, even though it is, like, to me, it's fascinating. I mean, I don't even know why more people aren't doing this demonic distortion, reptilian shape-shifting busting in video, especially when you can just do it to yourself and get some demonic distortion. You know, this is a fascinating topic, and I haven't seen any other intelligent people doing it. I know there's some people that are interested in it, but they either don't have maybe the competence to do it, or they're just afraid. You know, they're afraid. They don't want to get into it. They don't want what happened to me to happen to them, to be blacklisted with helicopters buzzing you day and night. But yeah. Oh, by the way, to the officer who pulled me over there, sorry about not telling you that I was living in my RV, but I found out that when you tell people that, you lose all credibility. That was the only reason, just so I'm not treated like a friggin' doormat, you know, freakazoid, loss of sanity kind of person. And that's the only reason. There's no other reason. You can check out my channel. I'm not lying about anything else. As far, I mean, I tell you know, my channel you can obviously see, because I talk about it all the time. This is all I got. But when in public, I generally don't offer that up, and so my apologies. But that address is a valid address where I can get mail and stuff. So since it shows up on the record, that's why I use it. Okay, Road Warriors log. I can tell you that after 10 years, no, more than 10 years, actually 20 years of having, because see, I had a 1987 Toyota mini RV like this before, and now this is an 86, so I went backwards a year. But I can tell you that people are so rude to you in this thing driving around, and that's number one. Number two is when you park it anywhere, they really, a lot of times hate you. They hate this RV. They do not want to see it parked near their area. And it's got to the point where I am really now, because now that I've been driving around this thing every day because of the fact that my car is burned out, I'm really considering something else. I could really use like maybe one of those, like a stealth van. But the problem is, like, see, let's just say I got lucky somehow and I got a nicer, you know, not brand new, but newer model, full upright, full sized van, you know, maybe like this, except with the, you know, without the windows. Or, I mean, even better still, if I got one that was one of those, it's actually built to be a camper. Now those are about, I think they start at like 50 grand. So you have a whole setup already built in it with a stove and sink and everything else. Now, the problem still, even with that, is that compared to this, two main things. One is a survival issue, because this being a 4-cylinder Toyota, both the engine and transmission will so outlast anything that's made by American, which is all I could afford as far as the van goes, and that's really all there is. That's number one. Number two is that you don't have you can't stand up as easily unless you get one of those really tall ones. Like I said, that's starting at $50,000. I think you really it's like 80,000. And in reality, I'm really not getting it. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. What would happen is I could get like a full-sized van, maybe if I got like a real one that's almost the best that I could do for around $10,000 if I were lucky enough to get that much. Sorry about the noise. So, but I can tell you that it might be beneficial just for the ability to park it, even just for one night. See, what doesn't work, and I've been trying to do this for a long time, and it totally doesn't work, is leave it, find some place that's cool and leave it there. The problem is there's no place that's a safe place that you can park every day, or just leave it there and then drive your car, that you will be tolerated. You will not be tolerated. People do not like it. People do not want it. Now, if you have a stealth van and you park it, there like maybe once or twice a week, so you have to rotate between places so people don't get pissed off, and like the guy in Cheap RV Living says, he has a movie called Avoiding the Knock, the nightmare when you're living in your vehicle. So, but this thing, guys, this little Toyota truck here, guys, with the RV situation, I mean, I like it because it's got room, to maneuver stuff and put your clothes and everything else. But boy, oh boy, you get treated. I mean, I thought I got treated like crap at my Jeep, but driving this thing again reminds me that boy, oh boy, people cut me off like just crazy. I mean, and people in LA are so arrogant and so impatient, and you'll be driving and just like full cutting off in front of you as you're driving. I mean, you have to slam on the brakes to keep from hitting them. And I mean, and you think, oh, maybe I'm complaining or exaggerating. No, it's really bad. I mean, I completely understand when because this RV is driving slower than most vehicles. So, I understand people are going to pass around. That I don't mind. People are zooming around. Fine, I go around slower vehicles too. I'm talking about like the outright rudeness and just, like total, like, and just like the hate. That's the weird part. The hate, guys, the hate of being in this thing. And it's seriously made me want to think, oh, there goes something. It seriously made me want to think about possibly going out to this one desert. This guy has this thing way out in the desert, and it's really, the rent is really cheap. You get like $300 a month, and you can rent a space, and there's water and trash removal and everything. But it's 18 miles to the nearest food, and 45 miles to the nearest town, and basically it's a whole lot of nothing out in the middle of nowhere. And now there's, that could be attractive for various reasons sometimes, but to me, there's not enough. I mean, there's, you can't get out and go to the coffee shop. I think they do have wireless internet or something like that. I don't know how much it would be, but like satellite link, but I don't think it's that fast. But the problem is, first of all, you're way far away from groceries and food. So if you're somebody like me that likes to eat like fresh lettuce or something every day, that's going to be a problem. And then, I mean, you just needing something at the market, you grab something at a store, that's a big, problem, because you can't just run into town and you can't always anticipate your needs. So that's one thing. But the other thing is that I think I would just go kind of nuts, just like sitting there. There's nothing but, bushes and dry land outside and nothing and nobody. And I think that would be harsh. But I mean, it gets me to start thinking about it. I don't think it's realistic. As I kind of settled it in my mind, I was thinking about it, because I looked into it, at the channel Cheap RV Living, you can see it. And I think that it's something that's even not necessarily what I'm supposed to do, because I don't know what I would do out there. It feels like, like I don't know exactly what all I would be doing with myself, because there's so much stuff and whatnot happening here. Let's see. But I don't know, maybe I'll take another direction, because this thing really stands out. That's the issue. I mean, I just lied to a cop yesterday about being homeless just by force of habit, because, as I mentioned, you say you're homeless, all credibility is lost, and you will never be respected. You're less than nobody. In fact, at that point, you might say, okay, well, let's have a search of your vehicle and all that, and empty out your pockets. And believe me, they will. If they think that you're a homeless guy, you have no rights. You have no power. Chances are you're not going to hire an attorney. You're some incompetent lowlife. That's what and it's understandable. Except it's just unfortunate, but that's the fact of the matter. So yeah, I keep that under wraps. So maybe this thing, especially being old school, 1986 Toyota RV. That's not in the best of shape. It's not terrible, but you can see some of the rust on the hood, and it's the paint and fiberglass and everything are worn on the sides. So the reality is that it may be better to get something like a lot of people get a little van like this, even like a construction van used, and then it's got a rack and everything on top. You could put solar panels on there, and then you just look like another construction worker, rather than this thing, which is basically just kind of announces that you are, in fact, a homeless wreck that is too retarded and too much of a lowlife or screw up of some kind to afford a home, which nobody wants that in front of their home. That's what I realized. Now, again, if you only park there once or twice, you're not going to get a problem. My problem is I've been leaving it in the same place too much, hoping, having some kind of fantasy that it doesn't piss people off. Here, just let me tell you my experience. My experience is, if you have an RV, it will piss off people in a residential community if it's near their home. It'll piss off them. Let's try that again. It will piss them off every time. Not most of the time. Like maybe there's some people are cool, and that you mean no harm. You're not making any noise, and you mess. Your vehicle is clean, and you're not bothering anybody. You're lawful, and everything is cool. You keep everything clean. You even keep the area clean of trash. No, let me just tell you my experience. Okay, people do not. Now, okay, I will give it this caveat. Okay, having the Spirit of God with you, it's like acid in the face of most people. They can sense it. Okay, you just can't believe it. Now I'm just go ahead and tell you. You either know what I'm talking about or you don't. People can't stand that spirit. Okay, no one. I realized I couldn't convince anybody in my family about how bad I was hated just for the spirit that dwelt within me. All of a sudden, a reaction. People start whistling. The demons in them know. Somebody with the Holy Spirit that can burn them with fire. And boy, I'll tell you, not everyone. There's a lot of nice people. I mean, especially like at Starbucks, most of the people are really professional, really nice. But boy, I'll tell you, there are some people that in any coffee shop that, boy, they just, you don't need to guess, okay? People are people, so why should it be that you should freaking hate me so bad for no reason? Sorry for the noise again. But yeah, we got the roads here in Calabasas. So well maintained for all the tax money that must come in. We even got the Kardashians here. Woo! You know, I have no idea who these people are, but they're like supposed to be famous. They're supposed to be living here. I didn't even know until I met some guy who was telling me. I'm like, oh, the Kardashians, but they were selling some kind of, you know, I heard of them, you know, like some kind of, you know, Hollywood stars or whatever. But I've never even seen a show that they've been in because I don't watch TV. But yeah, so one plan might be to sell this and the Jeep and get a stealth van, hopefully a good one. So and at that point, I've only got one vehicle that I gotta have to worry about. But then again, if you wreck it, it gets stolen, whatever, you're sleeping on the sidewalk. No doubt about it. Exiting the mall buzz. Direct flyover. Black and white LAPD. It's Reptoids. Gang stalking plan. Black and white LAPD. Look at that. Direct overhead.
And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office. It was His Highness Draco something. I can't remember the other name. And he was about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, had sort of like scaly skin, humanoid. He walked erect like we do. He had 2 arms, 2 legs. He had a tail, but it really didn't show most of the time.
This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They kill the cure with the sickness. This is a war on tradition. This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They kill the cure with the sickness.
If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.